Hello, my name is Ibrahim Al-Janabi and I'm an honors student at the University of Idaho. My honors presentation for this course was to learn more about the topics that are lightly covered or not covered, which relates to the other topics we have in class. My presentation today will be on the animal immune system. To start learning about the immune system, we should look at the core topics of the immune system. To get a good idea of what the immune system is about, we're going to look at the innate and the adaptive immunity. We're going to look at a journey of how activation and response occurs in the immune system and how that leads to memory. In the immune system, there are diverse functions that help defend the body from foreign pathogens. That could be viruses, bacteria, or parasites. Functions of defense are classified under two categories: innate immunity or acquired immunity. Innate immunity is present in all animals, and it's the first defense that pathogens go through when they first contact the body. This system is general against many types of pathogens. It deploys immediate response or defense against invading pathogens. Basically, it's the first response to anything that is threatening. The adaptive immunity or acquired immunity is the second defense that is more specific and is activated slowly. It's called adaptive or acquired because the response allows you to create immunological memory that will be used in the future. Also, adaptive immunity or acquired immunity is only present in vertebrates. The innate system contains both external and internal defenses. For external defenses, you have the skin as a protective layer covering the body of the organism. Mucous membranes are found in the digestive, respiratory, urinary, and reproductive tracts, which what they do is secrete mucus that traps microbes. Next, we have secretions. An example of that is your tears and saliva, which what they do is help wash away microbes. Since we're talking about vertebrates and invertebrates, both have acidic conditions in the digestive system which help kill pathogens. Some organisms have antimicrobial secretions that form on the skin for better protection against pathogens. The last barrier of defense that we're going to talk about is the commensal organisms, which are organisms that act on the host's immune system to induce protective response. For example, symbiotic bacteria on the amphibian skin, which help protect against certain deadly fungus diseases. Internal defenses are costly, and because of that, these defenses are for specific invaders. The internal defenses have evolved receptors to recognize pathogens. This is because receptors of foreign materials are displayed outside of the cell to signal a breach. The first example we're going to look at is phagocytic cells, which basically what they do is ingest harmful foreign particles, bacteria, or dead cells that are found around the body. For the second example, we're going to look at when viruses attack the cells. They induce the cell to make interferons that are released to bind to other plasma or nuclear membranes on adjacent cells. The adjacent cells synthesize antiviral proteins from the interferons, which degrade viral mRNA when the virus tries to move to the next cell. For inflammatory response, you have damaged tissue in which the cells send chemicals causing blood vessels to leak into the damaged area. This is what causes swelling. This recruits specific immune cells to prevent the spread of infection. The last example is natural killer cells. They are first activated in response to interferons, or that the macrophages that secrete cytokines to activate natural killer cells. Macrophages are involved in the inflammatory response. They release cytokines when they contact pathogens or other threats in the body. These cytokines are what help activate the natural killer cells, because the natural killer cells need to be activated in order for it to engage with infected cells. So natural killer cells, when they engage with infected cells that display certain receptors, what they do is they cause the cell to undergo either lysis or apoptosis. The activated natural killer cells also can release more cytokines, which would trigger widespread adaptive immune response. Speaking about adaptive immunity, it is only present in vertebrates and contains two classes of lymphocytes. There are classes of white blood cells that include B cells and T cells. Natural killer cells are also lymphocytes, but they contribute to innate immunity. This activation is slow, but it creates immunological memory. It's basically an enhanced response to previously encountered pathogens. The way that B cells and T cells cause immunological memory, we're going to look at in the next slide. B cells bind to antigens that are roaming in the environment or pathogenic surfaces, while T cells specifically bind to processed antigens presented by the cell that are called the major histocompatibility complex or the MHC molecule. This causes the cell to undergo clonal selection by dividing many times. The proliferation creates two types of cells: the effector cells, which are also called plasma cells that are short-lived, and memory cells that are long-lived. These memory cells cause stronger response to a specific pathogen next time it invades. We use vaccinations today to help create the process in which, when you get the disease, you have much faster response. Now we wanted to go through the scenario where pathogen is taking a journey through the human body, specifically viruses. Many pathogens invade organisms because they take advantage of nutrients present, the protected place for growing and reproducing, and use time to transport to other hosts that the organism interacts with. It's pretty much like they hit the jackpot. Let's say that a virus has infected you. The very first thing is that the virus would need to have entered through the external defenses of the innate system. Even though there are many external factors such as skin, secretions, or mucous membranes, some viruses have evolved to stand or escape some of these conditions. One way they could get in is through interactions with somebody that is sick or cut on your arm. Next, the virus will go through the internal defenses. For viruses, when phagocytic cells bind antibody to its surfaces related to the virus, it triggers a mechanism called phagocytosis, in which it engulfs the virus and destroys it. Another example would include natural killer cells that are activated to find infected cells and program the cells to cause lysis or apoptosis. Natural killer cells also release cytokines which proceed to the mechanism of B and T cells. This is where memory cells are created by the proliferation of clonal selection. This helps provide a stronger response to the specific virus next time it invades. After all, with the immune system, there are major features. The first feature is diversity of receptors. They are prevalent all around the body for recognizing different pathogens. For example, there are more than 1 million different B cells and 10 million different T cells. The second feature is that antigens can recognize self versus non-self materials, and the antigens that self-react will be destroyed. The third feature is with immunological memory, in which it provides a response that is stronger to previously encountered pathogens, which help us better deal with foreign invaders. This is my works cited. It includes some of the resources I used for some of the pictures and the materials. A lot of the materials I used came from the book, and the other websites are mainly for the figures I used. If you have any questions about the figures or the any of the questions about the resources or anything you didn't understand from the presentation, you can email me. I'll leave my email in the description for this video. If you have questions in general about the concepts, you can talk to Dr. Perrin. She's amazing. She helped me a lot with creating this presentation. And with that, thank you.